Now, um, apparently it's getting worse on the news and about Russia. They're basically invading more and more of the West. It looks like they're trying to, and I'm basically scared at this point because the more they go west, the more danger it could put everyone else in. And apparently, one of my orders was actually from Ukraine, and it was a shadow chow, basically that I was ordering, and it got canceled in February, and I started to think it's because of this war. This war is doing it. Um, so so apparently, looks like I would have to get my refund, and apparently I put their Ukraine problem, meaning it's to do with in Ukraine. So there's just a lot of issues going on right now. My mom is actually going to Turkey. Apparently, which is not too far from Ukraine, basically from Russia. I mean, not far from like Russia, and well, I actually do fear for her life. Because if she flies over, basically from the UK, to go to Turkey, she could be flying over a war zone. And knowing what the Russians are like, they would probably try and shoot the plane down, which I think is bad because that means it would put my mum in danger. She could be suffering with it. And she probably might not even return. Um, So I'm actually hoping a flight gets canceled due to that war, or something to do with like safety precautions. To say, okay, you can't fly over while there's a war zone going on because it's dangerous and it could put her at risk. So apparently it's horrible. Now I actually did actually think that that somebody that's in Russia should actually someone that wants to go out as a hero, maybe get a group together, sneak in to Putin's place or whatever, and then just kill him on the spot and get rid of his body, and then find a bunch of like crocodiles or whatever and basically feed that body to them so there'd be no evidence of Putin anywhere else. So his body will be all gone completely. So there'd be no more evidence of him, and then the whole drama with the war would be forgotten. Well, sort of. Meaning there'd be no more of this drama. Pretty much, things would go back to normal. So that's why I made this in case, in case more countries get invaded, because they probably will. Now I do know, when it comes to if it came to the UK being invaded, I'd have nowhere to go. Now I'm going to explain why. Basically, the UK is on an island. It's next to Wales. So the problem is it's surrounded by water, a lot of water. Now, the safest bet, but the problem is I would not like that safe bet, and I'd probably freeze to death. Now, that option is fleeing all the way to Greenland, which is an option which I probably won't like because it'd be too cold. And I hate snow and ice, which would be something I'd have to be forced to live with. And I don't like it one bit. But I'd end up with no choice. That would be my safest option. To find a boat and flee, or basically go somewhere that's on an island, possibly, and try to survive on the island, with trying to survive off that or whatever, and basically research about like types of things you could actually eat and whatever, and be aware of like poisonous bugs and all sorts, stuff like that. So so apparently, I'm hoping that you know, apparently, I'm hoping that Ukraine gets a bunch of help, possibly with sending a bunch of troops from all countries, getting them all involved into a World War III. So that Russia would be pushed against a corner, mainly Putin, because he'd have no choice, and everybody would overwhelm him, and he wouldn't be able to fight back at all. So even though this would make it dangerous, it would be one of the best options because it'd be showing Putin how scared he really is of this war. Because it would show that we are stronger to fight against him. Because that would be a big problem right now. So for anyone that's in danger, in Ukraine, still supporting, because of the colors of the paper or whatever, I'm still supporting this war. Still supporting with you, Ukrainians. Still on your side. Haven't changed. There is some selfish Russians out there that actually do stick on Putin's side, even though he lies a lot, which is why Russia's things been banned on like social media, like Twitter, Facebook, because he put a bunch of lies trying to blame the Ukrainians for like missiles and all sorts when it's not actually their fault. It's basically Putin's fault. He's done this. He started this war. He basically tried to make a lie, saying that the Ukrainians did this when they didn't. So I just want it to stop because I'm scared. I don't want to be part of this war. Apparently my grandparents will be forced to flee because they my granddad's not old enough to fight in the war. Well, he's actually well over his age limit, so he can't. So he would have to flee with my nana. My mom possibly, maybe she'd probably flee or fight. My cousins, got a couple of cousins. Apparently they would have to fight because they're all male. Most of them. Now, most would actually have to fight back because they'd have to protect their home. Now, me and my sister would try to fight, even though we already have an illness. We would do it for the country, and to try and end this war a lot quicker. We would do whatever we can to fight back if it tried to invade the UK. If it tried to invade an area, we'd actually sign up and then bring our ID identification to show that we're at that certain age, and then get into this war thing, and then boom, we're part of that war, and we would fight that war. So everyone will actually eventually become assigned to actually fighting against the Russians, in the way. So they'll all probably sign up. There'll be a whole massive war thing going on. Everybody would go. Every country, especially Turkey would probably go for them as well because Turkey are close to Russia. They will actually target them because Russians are assholes. Well, apparently Putin in particular are the ones that stick up for him. But the ones that don't stick up for him, I praise that. I actually do. Which is a good thing because it's to show Putin actually is an asshole. He's not listening. That we don't want any war, just like here. No to war. So apparently we definitely don't want a war. We don't want to fight. But we will if we must. We will if we have to protect our countries and our borders and our life. A lot of things of other that's basically going to be suffering is it's killing animals. Animals are dying in these explosions and all sorts, which is bad. And they're gonna like kill more and more birds and all sorts. They're gonna die also. Bunch of people are forced to flee like with their pets. Most pets probably can't because they live in a certain environment and you can't take them out of it, so they would probably die as well. So, best pet for them is possibly, I think, like if you were forced to take a pet and a type of pet, like say like a reptile, and you just couldn't actually flee with them, you had to like release them instead. That would mean releasing them into the wild. Take snakes, for example. Snakes live in the wild usually. So putting them in the wild would be better than, you know, because they rely on heat. Snakes and such. So apparently taking them with you would be a bad option because they could freeze and die. Because they're used to warmer climates. So best bet is basically releasing them into the wild if you can't take care of them because they live in like a snake tank or whatever. Usually to do with heat, mainly. But if you have like a cat or a dog, then basically take a pet carrier or something, or get like a special bag that has like a see-through thing through it, so they'll be able to see through that bag to see where they're going. In other words, same with a dog. Um, Basically, a dog could be the same issue, but if it's like a big dog, then that's a bit trickier. Apparently, you can get like strollers like for dogs. You can really pick them up. You know what I mean? So there's that. And if you had a hedgehog, a pygmy hedgehog, for example, you can't release it into the wild because it will die. Because it can't do very well with cold and it's been brought up in a way where it can't survive if it goes into hibernation, meaning it would die. So there's that to consider. So yeah, so apparently most pets probably will die. I think birds probably will because they have a stress problem. When they physically sense danger, they know it's going to happen, which is why I've got the birds around with budgies. So if something goes off or whatever, like something doesn't seem right, they would pick it up because the budgies, you know what I mean? They would actually let me know if something's happening. So then I'd be notified of when it happens and I'd know when to flee, apparently. Well, apparently I'd probably take the birds probably with me. Some Probably in like in a bird carrier or something like that. To keep them safe in a way, so then they don't die. In a way, so then they feel fully safe. And such. Even though they probably wouldn't really. I'd probably put a bunch of food in that carrier or whatever, so they have like a bunch of stuff to eat. So drinking would be a problem. I'd probably have to like take a big massive bowl or whatever, and a bunch of water and then spray it or whatever like that. But I know I probably might not have the resources to care for the birds, which would result to releasing them into the wild, which I know is a mistake because not every pet can be cared for. It's hard. It would be definitely hard. So it is tricky to care about all the animals that usually look after, but you have to release some because they could die of supplies that you don't have. Meaning you wouldn't have enough supplies or food to actually keep them alive. So you'd have to focus on the main ones that actually need more food and water. Ones that actually wouldn't die that easily. Ones that basically are more attached. So the ones that do feel more stress are usually birds. So with birds, you actually have to release them so that they can fly somewhere else. and possibly stay safe in that area. Possibly, probably somewhere warmer, like some sort of tropical island or something like that. So basically, that's ways to keep them safe. Because birds actually fly somewhere else usually. When they migrate or whatever, something like that, and they actually breed and whatever. So me releasing the budgies would actually allow them to breed with other budgies in the wild. So they would be safe in a way. They'd be away from danger. So I'm actually hoping it doesn't come to this. I'm hoping this war ends sooner rather than later. Otherwise, it could be a big problem for everybody. And it could leave a big, massive, giant impact with leaving a bunch of people homeless. Meaning they'd end up with no cash or anything. They'd end up with completely nothing. No speds. They'd be struggling with keeping warm and a bunch of other stuff. It is sad. Really, really sad. I'm really hoping it doesn't happen, which I'm assuming it probably would, because I had a feeling this would happen. This war thing would happen while I'm around. I didn't think it would happen while my grandparents were alive, which is sad. Because I wasn't thinking, I was thinking maybe years later when they're gone and a bunch of others are gone, not some of my family with less stress and I'm actually older, but no. This is bad for me because I'm not actually ready. I wasn't actually ready for a war at this age. At the age of 28. It's a massive impact for me. So apparently, peace out to everybody across the world that's trying to stop this war from happening, and big massive thumbs up to the Ukrainians trying to survive, trying to flee from this war, trying to also get more support from people, and another thing, if you actually do flee towards the UK, basically it's welcome for you. We don't mind taking in anyone that flees from like a danger zone. So you're pretty much welcome to join the UK in a way. So apparently we will help with this. But apparently we are running out of rooms. So eventually, because it's a small island, like I said before, it is struggling because a lot of people do travel to the UK to escape, situations like this to do with like war and such. So, yeah.